Hello and welcome. So today we are going to be talking about fragrances that will make you stand out. So last week we had quite a good discussion around fragrances that will get you compliments, that will turn heads, and that will definitely get you chased down because they are that special. They are fragrances that pull. But this week it is a little bit different because this time it's not about chasing you down to find out what you're wearing, right? It's more about not necessarily chasing you down because that would be kind of stalking, but they're definitely going to want to know who you are. Because the scent is so alluring and it's so special and it's so different. And these scents that we're going to be discussing today are not ones that you will find on the regular. They are not fragrances that are known by just about everybody, not even within our own fragrance community. These are not fragrances that are very recognizable at this point from a scent standpoint. And curiously enough, they're not all like 2025 releases. No, some of them have been around for a while, but for some reason, we have been able to keep them kind of like to ourselves, if you know what I mean. But today, I'm going to be sharing with you 6 fragrances. I've already reviewed these here on the channel, but I am going to give you some details today. But just know that these are not the fragrances to wear if you do not want to command not only attention, but command an entire room. As I go along, I'm also going to be sharing with you the vibe, the feel of the fragrance, what type of individual, would typically wear this kind of fragrance so that you can kind of understand if this is a fragrance that would be a good fit for you or not. So let's go ahead and jump right in because we have quite a bit to cover. But before we do so, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. So before we jump in, I did want to let you know that this video is kindly being sponsored by the Maxaroma team. And if the Maxaroma team is watching, thank you so much for sponsoring today's video. I have been working with Maxaroma for a while now, and I can tell you that I am so excited to share with you today because in case you're not familiar with them, they are a very reputable retailer that has an exquisite and very unique and very curated selection of luxury niche fragrances. What I love about Maxaroma is that they have free 2-day shipping for the US. And even if you don't get free 2-day shipping, they expedite their orders and are very consistent and systematic in their approach to delivering, your fragrances on time. And also their customer service is just incredible. I have never had an issue with Maxaroma, so I'm very happy to be working with them now closely. I purchased so many fragrances from them. In addition, they do have weekly promotions and deals, and they also have a rewards program that works like on a points basis. And depending on how many points you have when you're about to place an order, you can choose to redeem your points for a good discount on an order. The fragrances that I will be sharing with you today can all be found at Maxaroma, but no worries there because, of course, I will be leaving you a link in the description box of this video. And in addition to that, of course, I have a discount code for you. So just go ahead and enjoy and know that you're in good hands with Maxaroma. All right, so the first fragrance that I want to share with you today is one that I am telling you, when it comes to people around you, whenever you're at an event or just in any type of occasion and people are around you, they're going to want to know who you are. You will walk into the room and there will be something about you and that scent that you're wearing that will really awaken their curiosity and they will want to find out who you are. Not necessarily what fragrance you're wearing. That question will come next. But first, they're going to want to know what you do, who you are, what you like. What is it about you that really pulled them and attracted them so much? So this first fragrance is from Oman Luxury, and this is Caden. Now, Caden is a fragrance that was just launched in 2025. And I have to tell you, from the first moment I received this fragrance, I really have been talking to you about it. I've already reviewed it here on the channel, and I've already featured it in a couple of other lineups because it is very, very special. To me, this fragrance I would describe as the Take Charge powerhouse. Later, I will speak to you about, what kind of individual I see really being a good fit to wear this fragrance. Even though, remember, our motto is that we wear what we want, when we want, and how we want. But Caden is definitely a powerhouse. Now, this is a fragrance that is very ambery, very ambery, and it is warm, spicy. It has a good bit of vanilla. Caden has a very smooth leather touch to it. It has some woody notes, and then to top it off, it has the note of coffee. And that coffee will not make you smell like a barista. This is a fragrance that has a blend that has been done in such an exquisite way that when you wear it, there is a smoothness, a sophistication to it that I really can't even explain. It's an entire vibe, it's an entire feel, and you are not going to smell like anybody else around you. I will be shocked if you really find someone with the exact same scent, because I have put this one to the test. People don't know what I'm wearing. They want to know what I'm wearing. But first of all, they ask me 20,000 questions around who I am, because it is a scent that, as I said before, will definitely pull others to you. So when we talk about the feel of Caden, to me, this gives me superwoman vibes, right? This is the kind of individual that will take care of others at all times. Everyone around them, be it friends, family, acquaintances, pets, they take care of everything and everybody around them. They are very emotionally mature. They are selfless in their ways. They're always thinking more about others than themselves, and always trying to find a solution to any kind of issue that others may have. They are always in a support role, being quite selfless in the process. All in all, Caden is just an exquisite fragrance that I tell you, this scent is just so incredible. Please let us know if you've had the opportunity to try or if you own Caden and how you feel about it. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is from Testament London. And I just reviewed this fragrance for you here recently on the channel, but I had to bring it to this lineup because it is a perfect match when we talk about fragrances that will pull people to you, wanting to know who you are before they ask you about what scent you are wearing. And this one is from Testament London, and it is Tea on a Cruise. And here you have the beautiful bottle. Now, Tea on a Cruise is a fragrance that opens very interesting with a very, very beautifully done tea note. I tell you, this is a scent that others will not recognize on you whatsoever. It is just such a unique tea-centric fragrance, because for me, this is really about that tea note, but it is surrounded by a beautifully done water note quality that does not make it a spring, summer only kind of fragrance. This is really an all year round fragrance that you could also make your signature scent. I would describe this as a soft scent that makes a bold statement. And I know that there's a contradiction there, but that is truly what I get from this fragrance. When I speak to the vibe and the feel of it, I will explain it further. But trust me when I tell you, this is a soft scent that truly makes a bold statement. In this fragrance, you're going to find an incredibly done note of ginger. And in unison with that tea note, you find ginger, and there's some cardamom, and then there's that aquatic quality at all times, which I don't know how they did it, but it's so different than any other scent that I've tried that is truly tea centric. The fragrance has a floral presence and they're all like white florals. I really do pick up clearly on the tuberose, but I don't pick up on much of the other. I think if I recall correctly, there's some freesia here, but it's really not about the white florals. It's more, in my opinion, about that tea note with those spicy notes on that backdrop of like an aquatic quality to the fragrance itself. And of course, it is, by the way, an ambery fragrance, but it has quite a bit of vanilla. Not a ton, but it is a vanilla that you're definitely going to pick up on. This is a fragrance that it is a delight to wear. So to me, the feel of this fragrance is all about like a beta woman. The beta woman is kind of like, she has the same traits as the superwoman, but the beta woman is an introvert where the superwoman is not necessarily an introvert. She is empathetic and loyal and, is very like calm and soothing in her ways. She's the type of person that you do want to share when you have something that is bothering you or when you want an opinion on something that is not a comfortable topic to discuss with just anybody. That is the beta woman. And this is the scent that is the perfect fit for that introvert kind of individual that at the same time is quite loyal and empathetic to those around them. Next, I have for you from Onno Mystic Oud. And look at this gorgeous, gorgeous bottle. So I just reviewed Mystic Oud for you not too long ago here on the channel, and I have included it in this lineup because in my experience using this fragrance, this is truly a statement-making, quite bold kind of scent that really creates like an aura of like mystery around you. And when I talk about the feel of this fragrance, I'm going to explain that further. But just know that to me, this is like a dream empowering kind of scent. That kind of dreamer, but not like a romanticized dreamer. No, this is like a dreamer with a plan, but we'll talk more about it. But the scent itself, as the name says it, this scent is all about an incredibly done note of oud. To me, this is the scent of wealth and sophistication for sure. I see an individual who's quite an intellectual wearing this scent. And it has oud, but the oud is like to the level of a 3 to 4, more 4 than 3. But the oud is very smooth. It's not barnyardish in any kind of way. The fragrance is not sweet, but it's not, it has like a tad of sweetness to it, but it's not really a sweet scent. And it has, in addition to that oud, there are some woody notes, and I definitely pick up on the note of patchouli, but not in a heavy way. There is nothing heavy about this fragrance. Don't get me wrong. It is a dense scent, perfect for the fall and winter season and the opening of spring. But when I tell you that what this scent really does is really call attention as to who you are. So to me, the feel of this fragrance is all about the hustler type. This is a very disciplined, hardworking, passionate, and ambitious kind of individual who has a goal in mind and has a plan. They are like a strategist by nature. They were born being a strategist, and everything in their lives responds to a plan. Even when the plan doesn't go according to the plan, as we all know, because that's kind of life, they always have a plan B, C, D, whatever it takes to get them to that goal. They understand that, really there are no linear achievements, right? It's not like you're going to go from point A to point B, which is where you wanted to get to, and it's going to be a straight line. They understand that there may be detours, and they are fine with it because they always have a strategy or a plan in place on how they will maneuver through life. But at the end of the day, they are very ambitious without being like an obnoxious or not a very kind and nice type of person. They just know what they want and they go for it. And this scent is definitely a fit for that hardworking, disciplined, passionate, and ambitious kind of individual. That is what I get from this scent. And this is definitely one that when you are anywhere, be it a restaurant, be it an event, it doesn't matter where you are, a family gathering, everybody's going to want to know who you are. If they know who you are, they're going to want to know what is going on with you, because the scent will awaken a curiosity around you, not necessarily just the scent. So the next fragrance that I have for you is from Spirit of Kings, and this one is Allegiance. And here is the gorgeous bottle. I just shared a full detailed review of this fragrance with you not too long ago, maybe about 2 weeks ago. And this is fragrance that has caused such an impression on me that I had to include it in this lineup, because I've only really worn it 2 times, but I have to tell you, those are 2 times that have been quite memorable. It's really, I'm telling you, not so much about the compliments as much as it is that you will awaken the curiosity of others, be it in the office, in a special event, at a restaurant, in a theater. It doesn't matter. You are going to call attention to you. And after they kind of understand who you are, then they're going to ask you, what are you wearing? Because now they're in your space and they're going to pick up on that exquisite scent even more. Now, when it comes to this fragrance, to me, I would describe this scent as wisdom in a bottle. And later, when I talk to you about the feel of the fragrance, you will understand further what I mean. But for me, this is like wisdom in a bottle. This is a fragrance that opens citrusy and with a certain degree of freshness, because it has a combination of like bergamot, and if I remember correctly, it also has lavender. But the fragrance to me is really more about the rose. There's a beautifully done rose note here. It's not a freshly bloomed, crisp rose, but it's not a dated or jammy rose either. It is a rose that has bloomed and maybe has been open for maybe a couple of days. So it's giving you that full-on rose scent without being too mature or too dated or kind of jammy, because it partners beautifully with that note of lavender. The fragrance is very ambery. It has some vetiver, and it does have a musk, but the musk is really not in any kind of way playing like a relevant role here, because the musk is like a level 2 and it's not animalic and you're barely going to pick up on it. To me, this fragrance is more about those florals where the rose is the star, accompanied, with that lavender, as I said before, very ambery. And there is a bit of like spiciness here, but the spiciness at times comes across to me as fresh spicy, and at other times like a little bit warm. Towards the dry down, that spiciness is warm spicy, coupled with that ambery quality of the fragrance. But I tell you, this is an incredible fragrance if you want to command that attention to your person, to you, not necessarily just getting compliments or people chasing you down for the scent itself. It's going to be more about, you could be in a room and little by little you will notice that people that have been taking a look at you or looking your way will find a way to approach you and be in your circle so that they can start a conversation and find out who you are. It is just very, very interesting. The feel of this fragrance to me is that of like the crone. The crone is like that spiritual kind of person. They're very spiritually aware. They're very in tune with their spiritual self. This is the type of individual that you typically want to have a conversation with to get some wisdom, and it's not about their age. It could be a very young person. They were just born that way. That is their gift. They're very in tune. They have exceptional discernment, and they are the type of individual that can really give you perspectives at times that you would have never thought of. And typically, they're right on point, very in tune with their spiritual side. That is what I get from this fragrance, that kind of like wisdom kind of individual. Next, I have for you from the House of Dastan, Unseen. And here is the gorgeous bottle. I have definitely not just reviewed this fragrance here on the channel, but I have also, shared it with you in a couple of lineups, because it is a fragrance that I absolutely love to start with. But there is just something about this fragrance which I've been looking forward to discussing with you. So the House of Dastan does have different fragrances, and my favorite continues to be you with a question mark. But Unseen, curiously enough, for me, although it is called Unseen, It really represents a total vibe that is quite opposite to the name of the fragrance. You will not be unseen. You will be seen with this fragrance, and very much at that. To me, the scent I would describe as the infusion of modern energy. This is all about modern energy, and I can't wait to discuss with you the vibe and the feel and the type of individual that I clearly see wearing this fragrance. It is to the point that whenever I wear this fragrance, I actually feel that way. It makes me feel that way, even though I'm not necessarily kind of like that type of individual. It really does make me feel and behave a certain kind of way. Very, very interesting. But let's talk about the fragrance first, and then we'll talk about the feel. So this fragrance is all about a beautifully done note of fig. But in addition to the fig, the fragrance is a little bit lactonic, not very much, because it does have the note of milk. It has a very, very present but smooth leather note that will definitely captivate you. It has some woodiness. It has some patchouli, and at the dry down, you are going to get that like a tad earthy kind of patchouli, but not very much, and it is definitely creamy. The fragrance also has tonka in it, which gives it like a vanilla caramelly kind of effect. But I tell you, at the dry down, you are going to get a kind of fruity, a little bit sweet, not very sweet, but it is a little bit fruity, woody, musky scent that is going to be perfection for just about any occasion. This is one of those fragrances that I think you could get away with wearing just about in any season of the year and for any occasion and for any age. The feel of this fragrance is that of an individual who is very modern, but is the ultimate extrovert. This is not necessarily the party animal, but this is someone, an individual who is definitely at the center of it all, and they love every minute of it. They just embrace it. They really have this like love of life and of people and of just meeting new individuals. They just absolutely love that. They have a large group of friends. This is the type of person that, will have like a girls' night out every month, and they will have like a girls' trip every year because they have so many friends, and their friends are just as bubbly and fun and into just being in the center of it all as the individual is. This is a very, very interesting fragrance that to me speaks to a very, very extroverted type of individual who's also very, very modern. Just because they like to be in the center of it all doesn't mean that they're just all about themselves. No, that's not what it is. What it is that they embrace everything around them, and at that, they always land in the center of all of the activity. That is the vibe that I seriously get from this fragrance, to the point that when I wear it, it kind of makes me feel like that. And I'm not necessarily a full-on extrovert, but this is a very, very special scent that will definitely get you a ton of attention around who you are. And of course, within that, they are going to want to know what you're wearing because it is an exquisite scent. But it's all about how it matches you and how it just pulls attention to you. The last fragrance that I have for you today is actually one of my favorites, and it is from Pantheon Roma, and this is O. Now, O is a fragrance that, of course, I've also reviewed for you here on the channel, and I've shared with you that what I love about it is that it has like a note of like a rosé, like a champagne, but a rosé type of champagne that just gives it like an effervescent, like fizzy quality. It has a beautifully done note of cherry. It has some spicy notes, and it is a very ambery fragrance that also has a certain degree of woodiness. It is perfect for this season, but at the same time, I think you could get away with wearing it just about any season of the year for any occasion. I absolutely love this fragrance. It was a deep love at first sniff. But here's the thing, for me, this is like grace and glamour in a bottle. So the vibe or feel of this fragrance is that of the modern family woman. But here's the thing, this is definitely someone that makes their family the priority of their life, truly. The type of person that, let's say you meet them for lunch, they always have a story about their siblings, their grandparents, their parents, their children. It's all around their family. but at that, I call it the modern family individual because they have also found a balance. So they also have activities that they enjoy. It's not just about the family, even though the family is the priority. They have, hobbies, they have things that they love to do, and they do give themselves time to enjoy their own activities. So that is the vibe that I get from this fragrance. But when I tell you that this is the type of scent that you are definitely going to pull so much attention whenever you wear this scent because it is absolutely exquisite. That cherry note, while it's not centric, plays a key role. And that champagne note has been done beautifully. I highly recommend this fragrance if you really want to command attention. If you do not want attention, please do yourself a favor and don't wear this fragrance because they are going to want to know who you are before they even ask you about the scent itself. All right, fam, so we've reached the end of today's video, and I hope that this was enjoyable for you. Once again, thank you so much to the Maxaroma team for sponsoring this video, and I can't recommend these fragrances highly enough. I am sure that as soon as you sniff them, you will understand what I mean, and they don't smell like anything else that you may have sniffed out there, and nobody's going to recognize them on you because I am telling you, they're being kept like a secret. So today I have shared that with you. As always, I will leave a link and a discount code, of course, for each fragrance that I shared today. As always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.